Hi. I am Solus. This is with Integrate, and I wanted to give just a tiny bit of background because I appear in all forms. Um, I'm doing this in the beginning. I was doing this for myself, rather selfishly, I suppose, but uh, it was for a bigger purpose. So I originally, though, was doing this to find out more about myself and what I'm doing. I wanted to find out more about my conditioning so that I could understand how conditioned I was and maybe how to face some of those things so that I could tear them down. So I was trying to see myself in subject object relation, kind of like when people talk about an objective view or my mind goes blank a lot when I'm nervous, and I'm always nervous when I'm doing this. But anyway, um, and that's another reason I'm doing this because of that, because my mind goes blank when I get nervous. So, at any rate, when people have this objective viewer, and I've had this objective viewer. Some people call it their higher self, and me, I was from a background. I was told what to do every single day of my life, it seems, until I was 57. So I didn't have a clue about much. And so I kind of lived from my heart, but it was an emotional ride because I didn't have, um, I was still looking at the world from inside myself and not realizing how much we're all connected. So, in that respect, I was also trying to get rid of what I look like to other people. So if I wake up and do a video, it's for that reason, to wake up and do the video because of just simply sharing and not caring about what I look like. And at 73, being on camera in the first time, I didn't want to care about my appearance. So I pushed that a little bit and would film myself no matter what. And then not look back. And that has helped me tremendously. Not enough to make stop my mind from going blank sometimes when I'm nervous about what I'm saying, because words are so creative and they're like a painting, and they don't actually tell the truth, but they do point you toward it, as Rupert would say, who is, I would call, my best friend. And not in the way you think. I've never met him, but he doesn't call himself a teacher. But um, I'm learning a lot about being more direct with myself and not having all these blocks. So, like I said, I had someone telling me what to do 57 years, and I embraced that, and um, that was fine. I didn't have to think. So, I suppose that would be a good thing. Anyway, um, now the reason I'm recording this today is because of where I am in relationship to where I started. And I was looking back this morning at some notes from journals earlier or before, and I was finding some things that were particularly interesting that stood out to me. Um, but also, I want to say something again about that objective viewer, because people sometimes I said see that as their higher self. I never did. I always saw it as myself arguing with myself. So I never could quite get that as a higher viewer, but I did see that as subject object where you're looking at yourself. In my way I was looking at myself, it was to criticize myself and to tell myself what I should be doing and that I'm not doing. And so I kind of battled with that because that's what I had all my life, so I kept it up myself. Why not? So that was where I was coming from, or I've been coming from. Okay. So now with this direct path that I've been learning about, it's been really good, except for the fact that I have replaced that objective viewer kind of with the all, or infinite being, or the I am part of me. And so I don't know how well I've been doing that. But anyway, I'm just throwing that out, and that's probably premature because that's probably what because you really work on integrating that into your, not integrating because it's already there. You already are infinite being threaded through all of life, and it is all of life. It's not even threaded, it is all of everything. So when you talk about it in words, you automatically separate it. So let's start there. It automatically separates it when you talk about I am. That takes it outside of you in words. And that's the beauty of art, because it points you in the direction you want to go, but as Rupert would say, and so it's a creative endeavor, which I like because it is extremely challenging. And I've always written to challenge myself, or not to challenge, but to put my feelings on paper and try to get those feelings to direct another person to feel what I'm feeling. And they do. This, and the subject of it may totally be different. I wrote a poem once that was all feelings, and it was absolutely beautiful. I mean, it really represented how I felt. And when a person read it, they felt it. But they had written a book about volcanoes and nature, and a very beautiful book, and needed the expression of the violent and love dance in nature. And that poem did it for them, so they bought it. And I fell over because I was like, because I had written it completely different, and they appreciated it in exactly the same emotional content, but for a completely different purpose. And that was a big understanding for me. It was neat. I mean, anyway, I can appreciate that. So, like I said, I was reading this journal, and I was looking at some of the things I said, and how I was realizing how I was making the inside of me, I wasn't threading it. I was in my head, I guess, threading that we're all one, but feeling that my feelings and thoughts and all of that were a part of me. And I really felt connected to that. My thoughts are me. My feelings are me. I am me. I am my thoughts. I am my feelings. Totally opposite of what this beautiful learning from Rupert has brought to the table. It's been a wonderful, wonderful thing to realize that I am not my thoughts. I am not my feelings. But my head was saying it, and apparently I wasn't doing it, because I was reading this piece or this thing, and I'm not going to read it to you, but I just needed it to kind of stand there so when my mind goes blank, I won't flip out. So I was talking about an experience I had. I was talking about heart and head. Heart and head. Because my head came on board when I started living on my own and took over my heart. So it's like you can't have your cake and eat it too, which is something else Rupert brings to the table. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. And to me, that was like I can't have my head and my heart at the same time. That's just the way it's been with me. So I had my heart, and then I got my head, and then I lost my heart, and I have my head. I go back and forth between on my heart, then on my head, and my heart, my head, heart, my head. There's no integration at all. None. Separate. So, when I was reading this journal thing, it was talking about an experience I had on the road. I was driving down the road, and of course I was contemplating, because I usually am. And so this person was on the side of the road, and they were apparently very disturbed and distracted, and maybe they were wanting to be noticed, I know that. But they had this dog, and it had a leash, and he had this pack of some kind, and the traffic was terribly busy, and he was throwing this pack, and we had been at a long red light, and he kept throwing this pack before I got to the red light, when I got to the red light, and as I was going past the red light, he was throwing this pack and this leash and the dog in the middle of the traffic and screaming and yelling at him. And he obviously was not thinking about the dog. It gripped me so bad, as circumstances do. And when I wrote this piece, it came from that aspect. I am that moment. I am now. I am that moment. I am that circumstance. Bingo. It hit me. I'm like, okay. I am present now. I am being now. I am aware of now in infinitude. I am the circumstance. So my being and my present at every moment was in that circumstance. That's where I belong. That's where I was. That's where that was who I was. That was. So moments in my entire life had been this huge emotional roller coaster, because I am in the moment, 100% in the moment. I am 100% in the moment in that circumstance. Ouch! That is suffering. So this morning is the only when I put that together, and I wanted to share that. Wow, you're not your feelings, you're not your thoughts, you are not your circumstances. So I didn't have anything to relieve my suffering. Any time a circumstance existed, I was there 100%, 110% felt like. It felt like 200%. It felt like gone to that moment. Good or bad. I felt like a pinball in a pinball machine. I mean, really. The pinball in the machine. But it didn't hit me to the magnitude because I haven't, there again, head and heart, I hadn't separated the I am really from I am this or I am that or I am this or I am that. I could hear it and I could think about it. But that I am this or I am that, just putting the I am alone and focusing my attention on that, I didn't know how to do that. So this morning, with that recognition of not knowing, of knowing what I don't know or whatever, because words again are challenging, but unlimited being is knowing. And when I attach that whatever after the I am, that extension alone is suffering. That's where suffering comes from. So I thought to my own self, I need to share this. I don't know. I'm sure it's either something that helps or not. But I wanted to do that. And so I'm also messing with this video stuff because I'm not into it. I'm into sharing and I'm into words, but I'm not into the video part, this technical stuff. So this video may come out pretty crummy. I'm trying to make a YouTube from iMovie be the right size and the right quality. Whatever. So it's called experimentation, and I flunked that class so far. So it's just messing with it and kind of listening to a few YouTube. I can't spend a lot of time on it because I don't want to. But the sharing, the draw to doing this is the sharing and the words, finding words. It's kind of the way I'm trying to paint. I've always used words, like I said before, so I've always tried to paint a picture with words. Anyway, that's it. That's it. Off to the day.